It's time to catch you up on the Disney news you may have missed for the week. Welcome to Inside 300. I'm your host, Brian Perry. As you can see, we start with chaos at EPCOT as an arrest took place after a physical altercation. The poster of the original video on TikTok claimed that one of the men in the video punched an elderly cast member, leading to security and police being called outside of the Space 220 restaurant. You can also see that one of the two male guests had ripped a stanchion out of the ground and was apparently swinging it near guests before authorities arrived. The arrest is the first one to go viral in a bit over at EPCOT, but it's certainly not the first one overall, as these types of occurrences have happened numerous times over the last few years. No word on what happened to the guests after the arrest, but it's probably safe to assume that they are now banned from the most magical place on Earth. We shuffle over just a few feet at EPCOT to Test Track, as for the second time in the attraction's history, the ride has closed for a lengthy reimagining. The original version of Walt Disney World's fastest attraction opened to the public in 1999 and ran with the crash test dummy theme all the way until 2012. That's when it took Disney 6 months to retheme the ride into the Tron-esque sim track attraction that has existed for the last 12 years. June 17th marked the end of this version of the ride, and the closure will last through 2024 and likely for a decent amount of 2025. Disney says that Test Track 3.0 will reach back into history and draw inspiration from World of Motion, the attraction that stood in the same exact spot before the original Test Track was even built. Artist renderings also show that the canopy located at the ride's entrance will be removed. Another quote-unquote attraction is set to close at Walt Disney World this week, as the Frontierland Arcade will let guests take their final shots this weekend before closing for good. The attraction, which has stood since the park's opening in 1971, allows guests to fire a replica rifle at nearly 100 different targets set against a Wild West backdrop. Replacing the arcade will be a Disney Vacation Club lounge, Magic Kingdom's first one. Finally, unless you've been sleeping under a rock, you probably know that Inside Out 2 had a remarkably successful opening weekend just a few days ago. Pulling in north of $154 million, it now stands as Pixar's second biggest box office opening weekend ever, sitting behind 2018's Incredibles 2. If you're an Inside Out fan, check out the most recent episode of Disney 100 Jeopardy, where the 5 categories covered are joy, sadness, anger, disgust, and fear, in honor of the original Inside Out film, one of my favorites. That's going to do it for this episode of Inside 300. If you like what you saw, be sure to subscribe and click that bell icon. Hello, bell. This way you're notified every time we come out with brand new content. I've been your host, Brian Perry. I'll see you this weekend for Disney 100 Jeopardy. Till then.
Bye-bye.